But our top focus is that India Today exclusive political war of words has broken out after former Raw Chief A.S. Dulat's explosive interview to India Today. It has triggered a political war of words with all opposition parties now mounting an attack on the BJP. The Congress mounted an attack on the BJP saying Dulat's revelations have unmasked the party's nationalism claim. While our soldiers risked their lives for the country, the Vajpayee government was helping Salahuddin's son is their claim. The Congress also accused the NDA government of compromising with the national security of the country and questioned why the NDA government allowed plane IC-814 to take off from Amritsar. In an explosive interview to India Today's Karan Thapar, former Raw Chief A.S. Dulat opened a Pandora's box by making public some of the inside information from his years in service. He said the Kandahar hijack was a goof-up and no one wanted to take a final decision. Dropping the riots bombshell, ex-Raw Chief said that Vajpayee told him that the 2002 riots was a mistake. There are also revelations on Farooq Abdullah over the help he provided to the Hizbul chief, Syed Salahuddin, and his chemistry with the then Prime Minister Vajpayee.
When Prime Minister Vajpayee was explaining Raj Dharam to the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, Shri Narendra Modi, he also said that the 2004 electoral loss of the Bharatiya Janata Party was primarily because of the 2002 Gujarat riots.
If the riots under Congress, if 1/100th of the investigation had taken place about who was responsible, a lot of VIPs would not be in their homes.
Mr. Dulat very clearly explains how the crisis management group of the BJP-led government failed miserably. 3 most wanted terrorists were released at Kandahar.
On Kandahar, consultations were held at the highest level, and when I say highest, I do mean highest. I challenge the Congress to answer one question. Should those 400 plus Indians have been allowed to die?
Bharatiya Janata Party government was in active communication with Syed Salahuddin, the head of Hizbul Mujahideen. This clearly shows the pseudo-nationalism of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
The government of Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee had absolutely nothing to do with that decision. If such a decision was made, it was made by Dr. Farooq Abdullah, and you are most welcome to ask Dr. Farooq Abdullah, who in fact is a very great ally of the Congress.
The offer to Farooq Abdullah to make him Vice President happened at your home.
It did. We were at dinner together. There was Dr. Farooq, Mr. Brijesh Mishra and myself. And during the conversation, this matter was brought up by Mr. Brijesh Mishra. He said, "Doctor Sahab, आप दिल्ली क्यों नहीं आ जाते? आपको Vice President बनाते हैं." So he said, "Sure, why not? You know, because ultimately he was always wanting to get to Rashtrapati Bhavan, and this would have been a stepping stone to Rashtrapati Bhavan."
But did Farooq ever get a confirmation from either L.K. Advani, the Home Minister, or Mr. Vajpayee himself?
Well, that's the way Farooq put it to me, because you know, by the end of it, I think he was beginning to realize, as the date grew closer. This was in May 2002, and I was in Srinagar, and he called me. I was summoned by the Chief Minister and said, 11 baje bulaya hai CM Saab ne. And normally it was always at home, but I was told, no, you've been called to the Secretariat. So there was Farooq in his office, and he sat me across and said, "Bhai, batao, is Delhi serious about making me Vice President?" I said, "Why not? Why do you have any doubts? You heard it firsthand from Mr. Brijesh Mishra. You've spoken to the Deputy Prime Minister. You've spoken to the Prime Minister, haven't you?" He said, "I have." I said, "Then where is the doubt?" He said, "But I don't trust Delhi. I've never trusted Delhi."
Farooq actually said, "I don't trust Delhi."
He said it. He said it.
The second terror event that you were involved in, along with Farooq, was the hijacking of IC-814. He was once again Chief Minister, but you were by then head of RNAW, as a result of which you were a critical part of the crisis management group in Delhi that was managing the government's response. Now, the only point at which that hijack could have been ended is if the government had acted when the plane was on the ground in Amritsar for 50 minutes.
That's what I've said, yes.
What went wrong? Why didn't the crisis management group act in that period?
Well, let me say we goofed, but, you know, nobody...
You mean the word goofed? You mean goofed?
I mean goofed, yes, because of the fact that, I'll tell you what was uppermost in everybody's mind, nobody wanted to take a call. What was uppermost in everybody's mind was the security of those passengers. And so, you know, instead of giving out clear, direct instructions to the Punjab police, which was in charge on the ground there, and to say that nobody was willing to say that this plane should never be allowed to leave Amritsar. That nobody said.
Why?
Because nobody was willing to take that call. As I said, everybody had this, that log mar jayenge, kya hoga, who will answer, this, that and the other.
Were they worrying about potential consequences, or were they covering their back in case the decision was the wrong decision, and therefore were they protecting themselves?
I think it was a bit of both, if you ask me.
So real leadership at that point of time in the crisis management group was missing.
But that may not be very fair, but let me again come back to the same thing, that nobody wanted loss of life, neither in Delhi nor in the Punjab. When, you know, Sarabjit...
But as a result of which they prevaricated, the plane took off and that opportunity disappeared.
That's right.
This is why you think the CMG goofed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.